Jake Tapper interviewed Biden, and he pressed him on the USMCA, which is the new version of NAFTA. Let's see what he said.
Something else he did is he renegotiated NAFTA.
He did.
He renegotiated NAFTA. Now, when you ran for president and when Barack Obama ran for president, you both said you would renegotiate NAFTA. You didn't. He did. Nancy Pelosi said that the USMCA, which President Trump signed into law, is a, quote, victory for America's workers. Does he deserve credit for that?
No, I think, remember, he wasn't the one that pushed that particular one that passed. The House amended the bill so he couldn't.
He signed it.
By the way, it's a big deal, though. Here's what they amended. He was giving pharma a way out, giving them a gigantic break, just like he's doing now with pharma. They're building plants overseas and getting tax breaks for it. That's what it was about with him, and they said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do.
He renegotiated NAFTA, and you didn't. Is the point? I mean,
because we had a Republican Congress that wouldn't go along with us renegotiating it.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA.
All right, so let's dissect this. I thought Biden's answer was fine until the end, where he just totally concedes. Like, oh yeah, it's better than NAFTA. No. Listen, if I'm on Biden's staff and I'm trying to coach him on how to answer this kind of question, I would tell him you have to say the words, and I quote, "Meet the new NAFTA, same as the old NAFTA." See, Trump loves to do the whole fake populist tap dance, but in reality, his policies have not delivered on this front. Why do I say that? In his first year alone, it was over 90,000 jobs that were outsourced. The anti-outsourcing president outsourced more jobs, or more jobs were outsourced under him than were under Barack Obama. So Barack Obama's last year, 87,000 jobs were outsourced. Trump's first year, it was either 92 or 93,000 jobs that were outsourced. And his policies on this front are not what he's trying to pretend they are. So in other words, he might talk this outsider game, this populist game, but guys, his cabinet is filled with Wall Street people. Just like how, every now and then he'll say anti-war stuff, but he's surrounded by all these vicious, bloodthirsty neocons who are war criminals. So the devil's in the details, and Biden actually stumbles on the most important part of all. He says it, he just didn't say it in a very clear way. In the USMCA, which I just call NAFTA 2.0, there's a giant giveaway to Big Pharma. That's the whole point of doing NAFTA 2.0. Not like, I'm going to stand up for the American worker. No, the whole point was, let's do a giant giveaway to Big Pharma because Big Pharma funds, the entire Republican Party, but also the Democratic Party. That was the point of it. So Biden made that argument, but it was kind of like, it wasn't clear and it wasn't punchy. And that's actually surprising because usually for him, he is punchy when he's on the sauce. And I think he is, by the way. But usually he's punchy and he would be able to say it in a way like I'm saying it now. Like, the whole point in NAFTA 2.0 was the Big Pharma giveaway. That's why he did it, because they're corrupt and they're giving a lot of money away to Big Pharma. That's what I would have said. But he didn't say that. He said it in like a roundabout way. And I wouldn't have conceded at the end like, it's better than NAFTA. No, I would go with the line, meet the new NAFTA, same as the old NAFTA. And the other thing I would say is what I just told you guys, which is if Donald Trump is really so good at fighting outsourcing, why is it that there were over 90,000 jobs that were outsourced in his first year alone? Why is that? So, listen, credit to Jake Tapper, because it's actually a really good question. And I think that Biden's not so great answer there is indicative of his staff is not really preparing him for actual interesting questions. Actual questions that are reasonable and make sense and are important. They're not prepped for that. They're only really prepped for, Trump's really bad stuff. And none of the more nuanced takes are really in prep. And that's a shame. But in the interview, he goes on to make some points that I think are good. I think they talk about the Bob Woodward audio tapes where Trump was basically saying COVID is way worse than the flu. It's way worse. And I like to downplay it. I like to downplay it because I don't want to create a panic. He's asked about that, and on those questions, I think Biden really kind of hammers Trump in an effective way. And he should lean into those issues because that's really what the election is about. I think the election ultimately is about the economy, but most importantly, COVID. And with nearing 200,000 Americans dead, you got to hammer him on that all day and all night. Let him try to change the topic to law and order and rioters and looters all he wants. The polling numbers show Biden is trusted more when it comes to the protests happening right now. More people think he would calm the situation versus Trump. So he's winning on the issue that's Trump's wheelhouse, which is the issue Trump is trying to divert the election to. That's kind of amazing. But if I was Biden, I would continue to hammer away on COVID. He does a great job on that front. I would just warn his staff, man, you guys got to get a little sharper.